About an hour and a half into this hike. Everything's warmed up. In fact, I'm a little warm. Would like to be out of this poncho, but I'm not stopping for that. Things are feeling pretty good. As I said, I would get out of my mental state and mental funk and get back to the business of hiking. It's the reason that I shot that first video so early on, because I knew that essentially this would happen. And now also, you know, and not that those things are gone, but all the little annoyances are gone. Now it's just cranking them out. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do today, how many miles. I just don't know. So, and in some ways, I just don't care. That's what I should be thinking every day. What difference does it make? Frankly, as long as I have water, I don't know what difference it makes where I stay. I could stealth camp every night. I mean, I don't use the privies. I don't use the shelters. For the most part, I don't use the camaraderie. I could stay anywhere. So, anyway, just kind of kick it along here. It's actually a nice day. The overcast and the coolness are real benefits when you're hiking, just as long as you're not soaking wet. That's the problem when I chirp about this tarp. You know, it doesn't come down to your wrists like the Mammoth. I think the pack is too much of a jacket, so it seems like it'd be a pain to get on and off, so I'm sort of inclined not to be Jazzy Jeff about it, but at least have something that came down, because it soaks your sleeves. And if you're in your puffy, which a lot of times you are, well, that is a nightmare. Wet puffy when you get to bed, because I'm sleeping in my puffy. Oh, yes, I am. That's the foundation. That and the -33 wool bottoms are the foundation of my sleep system. So, okay, carrying on. Well, I don't know the name of this mountain, but a couple of section hikers, Ryan and EZ, told me that this is Jacob's Ladder. I've heard of that. I just came up the big ascent. Now I've got apparently I'm in between the first and the second. Then there's a third, then it goes down. Really down to a parking area. Must be another road. I don't know what road it is. Then goes back up, but not quite as steeply or as high. And then goes back down to that cable gap shelter. I think when I get up and then down this, at the next road, I would be maybe like 11.9 miles. I can honestly tell you that if there was a hostel or something at that bottom, like there was the last one, the Appalachian Inn or something like that, I think that might have been the last road though. But if it was there, I would actually stay at it tonight just to get my gear dried out. Because when I stopped for lunch, and I actually stopped for lunch this time, everything is just soaked. I am pulling huge amounts of water weight Of course, I'm still worried about my quilt being soaked. So I'm just going to stop here for a sec because you can see this uphill, the next leg of Jacob's Ladder, and I need to concentrate. So that's where we are. It's actually sort of that gloomy Blair Witch Project sort of day, but not too bad. I see 2 hikers actually ahead of me. Okay, later. Okay. Unless Mother Nature is messing with me, I think I just completed the 3rd ascent as part of Jacob's Ladder. Now, without my hard copy, Guthooks doesn't have it annotated, at least that maybe it does in the comments, but it doesn't on the screen. So I don't know what Jacob's Ladder is, frankly. I'm not sure if this is the first mountain of a series of mountains that makes up Jacob's Ladder, or if the ascent up this mountain, the sort of false summit, false summit, false summit, was Jacob's Ladder. I dare say, for it to get the reputation it has, it's probably this is the first ascent with multiple parts of Jacob's Ladder, and then we go all the way down to a road again, then back up. And I think it's that which is Jacob's Ladder, but maybe I'll clarify, maybe I won't, depending on what else is happening any day. Things are looking pretty good. Moving along pretty well, going on downhill now. Hard on the knees. Coming up to some other hikers, so not a bad day. Pretty darn nice, actually, given the way it started. So I will catch you later. That must be some sort of sign, since we're looking in Cody, Wyoming for our retirement place. I'm 3.7 miles from the shelter. My friends there must have had it all messed up because we were going to this shelter at 14 miles, a 14-mile day to this shelter because it gave us 7 into Fontana Dam. But I just sat down and looked at all the details, and it actually is a 15.2 mile day, and it leaves us just 4.4 miles from Fontana Dam. This is a lesson that I just can't seem to learn, is to do my own map study. I just seem to be behind the power curve from the moment I get into camp to the moment I leave, and I don't take the time to do this. But I could have stayed there at Cody Gap and been you know, just like 7 miles from Fontana Dam. And then, yeah, I don't know. Probably should have. But, so I think I'm 12.9 right into my day, which again would be a perfect time to stop. I don't know the motivation. I really don't. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I was running from a storm again, but now it's supposed to be, today was supposed to be the bad day. It's been cool, overcast, some sprinkles. It's almost a perfect hiking day. Tomorrow is supposed to be, I think, clear. Or snow tonight, but I think tomorrow is clear. And maybe a bit warmer. Clear anyway. So, it is what it is. I'll continue on here, get over to that shelter. I should be there by 5. That gives me, well, given daylight savings time, it should give me like almost 3 hours of sunlight. And I can get my water done, which is a big issue. I won't be able to dry out my tent since everything's so damp, but I can get it up and get myself squared away. Get my bear bag rope up so that after I cook, I can pull that up easy. That's the thing about when you're tenting and camping every night. You know, it takes time to find a place to dig a cat hole and then dig a cat hole and take care of all that and get water. Of course, you're usually a little bit further away from it. Get up your tent, get things squared away, get up your bear bag, get your cooking done, and everything policed up for your bear bag, because, you know, truth of the matter is that unless there are bear cables or a box at a shelter, 80% of the people are sleeping with their food. So there's no point in you hanging it if the other 6 people in the shelter are sleeping with theirs. So it just seems to be, and I think that's common from year to year, because when you hear about pass-through hikers, a lot of them say they slept with their food. I'm sort of okay with it right now. I've slept with my food a couple times. More than a couple, probably half the time. Because bears are still in hibernation. And if you get into a winter bear who's come out of hibernation because he's starving, he or she, you're much more likely to draw them in with the smell of cooking food and that sort of thing. I mean, you're bringing them right into your proximity. And, you know, winter bear is much more aggressive. But even with that, you don't hear of many issues every year. So I will continue on here. It's been sort of a rock scramble. It doesn't look like it now, but it has been a big time rock scramble. Sort of wish I had taken more pictures, but you just get in a zone where you cannot be stopping and starting and stopping and starting. You have got to push and keep pushing. Every time you stop, things start cooling down and cramping up. And so sometimes you lose a picture you want. Okay. Heading to Cable Gap Shelter. Probably 3.6 now. And I expect to get back with you by then.